Welcome back. I am Ari and I recently played BUSTAFELLOWS. Today I present to you my route review for the first guy of the bunch that I romanced, and that is Scarecrow. First I'm going to talk about my first impressions and expectations. In this game there is a common route at the start. It goes until chapter 4 and then you enter the route of the guys. So I'm gonna keep my first observations to all the stuff that was said and done until chapter 4. I'm gonna talk about that first, and then I will continue into the route while still leaving out spoilers in both of these segments, and then I will go into mild spoilers, and then at the end I might spoil one or two things about the route. But for the most part, this route review is spoiler free, and I will warn you before I mention anything. I will also talk about dynamics between the main character and the love interest, in this case Scarecrow, in order to give you a feel for the route itself. After all of this, I will give my personal rating of this route and Scarecrow. Alright, let's head in. Once again, we start with Scarecrow. He's the first guy that I romanced, and I'm only gonna talk about my observations up until chapter 4. So we're entering chapter 1 until chapter 4, and I have to start off with my feelings for him were he had the worst outfit of all of them, but I really don't like it. But he's the best guy. Like, that were my feelings for him. Now that this is out of the way, I'm gonna just go into his character. He's a shy guy. He's kind of insecure, trying to make up for it on every opportunity he sees. He's very sweet of a guy. Definitely has a crush on the main character from the start. He's kind of the butt of a lot of jokes because he just has a hand for falling into hilarious situations and having hilarious dialogue, I guess kind of because of his character. Some people will like that, some people don't, but for those that don't, I have to say that he's also very caring, which I liked. He's gentle and generous, which is also really great. I kind of felt like he always wants to be in control, but he's kind of, I don't want to say something mean about him, but I don't know how to put it into better terms, so I'm gonna say it as it is. He's kind of a wimp, and he's easily scared and very emotional, so I guess that's what makes him the butt of the joke a lot of times. Scarecrow is romantically very innocent. He is what I would call a worry pants, especially about the main character. Not so sure about the others, but kind of, not as much, I guess. He is so very caring and thoughtful. I think I already said caring, but like, just to emphasize that. He's very, very interested in the main character, and just all around super sweet, as you can already tell from what I'm saying. I think a good example for this is that he actually has a sprite, that he has his hands in front of his face, which I already found hilarious just seeing that. And then he also has a sprite that he's looking through the fingers, which made it even better. Like, I really love that part about him. Like, it's not the only part that I love, but yeah. If you already played until chapter 4, you might know that he's easily intimidated, but he tries to be cool about it. So to sum it all up, I have laughed out loud repeatedly in his interactions up until chapter 4, and I really loved him. I also really liked his interactions with the cat. This is all I can say up until chapter 4. Now I am gonna move up until his actual route and tell you my impressions about that. So be warned, if you want to go out now, this is the moment. Alright, so we are entering now chapter 5 and so on. It's not actually chapter 5, it's I think called side A. There's also side B. I will for now only talk about side A. I have already finished side B. It didn't change my opinion that much, but we're gonna talk about that when there's time. So for side A, so Scarecrow's actual route. Okay, so I actually don't have that much about his route. I kind of want to give a spoiler warning already. It's a mild one for now, but here we go. His route is very dark, which I did not expect at all. Was, I guess, yeah, it was kind of out of nowhere. I didn't see it coming at all. I like that part. It wasn't as, I guess I expected more romance in his route, or like more of the cute fluff that we have seen before in chapter 1 to 4. Instead, I got really scared of him, actually. I cannot go into details right now because this is still my spoilery section. I don't want to spoil directly, so I will just keep it here. I do want to give a bit of a trigger warning, so if you want that, just keep watching for a few more seconds. If not, click off. I'm gonna go ahead now. A trigger warning would be for assault, not sexual assault, but assault. And if you need more details, it would be choking. My other trigger warning would be kind of for, I guess, psychological issues. I think it's kind of well portrayed. Specifically, it's about DID. When this was first brought up in the route, I was absolutely not happy with how it was portrayed, but then I backpedaled, or like they made up for it by a few dialogue pieces about it, that it's actually something different. But it was brought up and I was very, very, let's say, cautious about how it was talked about it. But in the end, I was okay with it. That being said, I am not a professional and I don't have a disposition, so I am no judge of it. But I have, like, I just know a few things, so that was why I was a bit cautious when it was brought up. Okay, now I have to kind of go into spoilers, so if this was already enough for you, head out. Okay, so I guess the only thing I really want to say is he doesn't need a girlfriend, he needs a professional. And I was kind of glad that he got one for a bit. I actually wrote down a whole rant in my notes. I can just read it out. I wrote, I don't think the main character's decision is healthy. She forgave him too easily. This is serious. He needs help. Neither of them is a psychologist, and for him to truly be happy, he needs to get control over himself. After her own reaction to it and how it was handled, I wrote down, okay, she's a lost cause. Imagine the guilt he would feel if something did happen. That's all I'm gonna say, but I guess you can piece already together, even if you didn't play, what kind of happened. It was addressed after that in the game, but I don't know. This is really where the route went downhill from here, in my opinion, because yes, I did also write down I take it back because it was addressed, but I think it wasn't addressed enough. I tried to imagine while playing side B that he was actually getting counseling and it was just not mentioned. That's how I cope with it, I guess. And this is the only explanation I will tolerate for how side B went. But anyhow, let's get back to side A. I actually really disliked Crow's decision in the last part, and then how he reacted in the train. I was actually pretty upset. I wasn't upset at her then, I guess, but it made me upset when he had his little monologue at the end. Not before he went to the others, or like before the theme park, but before that. You know what I mean? I don't want to spoil the climax, but in the climax he had this monologue, and I was so upset with what he said because it made no sense. And I'm gonna spoil a bit now, because he wanted to leave not only the group but also the main character, and then later on he thought about her, and it just didn't make sense in my eyes. Yes, you can say, oh, in the face of death he saw what he actually valued the most, etc. Like, but that's just a really cheap excuse. I don't know. Kind of at this point I was like, dude, like, this is just like a whiny child that wants to have everything. And I really don't like people that want to keep the cake and eat it. but I guess that's my personal pet peeve. So yeah, I was really disappointed with what happened. I kind of just expected better. I don't know. That's actually what I wrote down. I don't know, man. I expected better. But yeah, I liked his outfit change after that, though. The side B story shows it's not the case, but I actually kind of felt it was an outfit change to show that he's more in control, because his outfit before was really flappy and the outfit afterwards wasn't. But I think it's just his mantle for the snow. So I was a bit disappointed about that. But let's now go into side B for a second before I will rank him. Some last notes, since I already spoiled minor stuff. I would just read out some things that I noted during the route. I found his aggressive persona kind of weird. It was not explained why he was so upset about the blood. I expected like an explanation that he's in some kind of database, and if they scoop the place and look at all the details of the break-in, then they would find him and know that he's alive or something, which I would have found way more interesting as a story, I guess. Yeah, and the memory loss was kind of weird. Also, it was kind of like, again, we're in the spoiler section, so like I would just say whatever. It was kind of weird that his real name is Crow and his fake name is Scarecrow, and I was like, okay, that's kind of really close by. I don't know, that's not a good like cover name if you don't want to say your real name, because he even like in the first chapters from chapter 1 to 4, they asked him what his real name is, or like the main character did, and instead of answering like a normal person, he was like, no, I cannot tell you my real name. And now I'm like, dude, everybody called you kind of by your real name anyways. So yeah, that's weird. Then again, I thought the whole time he would do this because of like there's a reason for it. Like he's focusing his trauma into this name. He's scared of Crow, or I don't know. I thought they made up something pretty smart that would just be revealed in the end, and it just wasn't. So yeah, there was a disappointment. Also, I understand they wanted to be dramatic and stuff, but I'm not sure if I'm completely convinced of their portrayal of a torture victim. Yeah. As a cute detail, I like the artists behind Captain Ginger, and other than that, his route ironically, this route made me like Mozu, Shu, and Helvetica a lot more. I mean, Mozu is, I guess, my top candidate right now, but yeah, I didn't expect to like Helvetica much more after this route. It's kind of funny. And I think that is all for side A. Now, just a few words for side B. So far, I thought the route is mostly plot-based. Like I said, for side B, I just decided to assume that the person got psychological treatment, because you don't just get over stuff like this. Like I said, I liked Crow's mantle way more than his normal outfit. I'm sad that he didn't wear it all the time. And yeah, I don't know, I guess the romance between them is pretty realistic. It's pretty tame though, and a bit, I don't know, a bit lacking. What I wanted to say a few minutes before this was actually, I expected kind of the stuff that we had in side B to be in side A, or let me rephrase it, I expected side A to be a lot more like side B, so I guess I at least liked side B more, even though I kind of like the action of side A. But yeah, I don't know, I think even though, like I said, I like the plot itself was okay, but not good enough to warrant so few romantic scenes. I guess maybe that's my personal bias, because I'm a sucker for those. Alright, let's go into my rating. Alright, so here we are. This is just a usual spreadsheet. If you want an explanation for it, you have to check out the first root review I made. It was about Kazuma from Love and Pretend. I think you can also find it in Riku's root review. About Crow. Let's see. As you have already heard throughout the whole video, I really liked Crow the whole first to fourth chapter. So he was kind of already up here by chapter 4. And then I entered his route, and at the beginning it was okay. I kind of was missing a bit more romance, but it was fine. I kind of expected him to land here, but after all the things that I have discussed now, and I guess the spoiler section, it's kind of more around here. I still really like the interaction with him. Actually, now thinking back, putting everything into perspective, he barely made it in the third rank, in the so close rank. It's more like a top good. I did not quite take the bait, or like I lost it, I guess. Now that I've said it out loud, that's probably the best phrasing of it. I kind of lost the bait in his route. I'm kind of torn if I should put him at the bottom of so close or at the top of good. Let me just check out my other ratings maybe. Did I like him more than any of those guys? Before chapter 5 or like side A, I guess, yeah. If I compare it to all of these guys, I don't know. Still hard, because I liked him so much until chapter 4. I was already kind of seeing him in perfect. I'm gonna be generous as he is and put him into so close. I really hope, or I really wish that I would see more of him. I have no idea what's in BUSTAFELLOWS 2, but I know that it already exists. I'm not sure if it's out yet. Localized at least. I hope that BUSTAFELLOWS 2 maybe corrects a few things. Yeah, so I guess this is my rating for Crow. And I am gonna go into probably Mozu's route or Limbo's route, but probably Mozu. And we are gonna see each other when I did that. Until then, bye! Oh no, he's going to try to pull his cool act.
Nani?
始まった。ようこそ俺の要塞へ。俺はスケアクロウ。裏社会のボスだ。ちょっと待って。一瞬待って。回りすぎちゃった。ちょっとアニマもう一回電気消して。
アニマ？
AI システムだよ。スケアクロウが作ったプログラムの名
電気を消します。
よし、アニマ。スポットライトをオン。ちょっとアニマ聞いてるの？
よく聞き取れませんでした。もう一度お願いします。
Even his AI is making fun of him and not taking him seriously.
アニマ？マジで？もう一回？
マジでもう一回を検索しています。
違う！ストップ！アニマストップ！ごめん！あともう一瞬待って！ほんと、あと一瞬！アニマ、スポットライトオン！
スポットライト点灯。
Oh, I love him. Depending on how he interacts with me, he might be my favorite.
お前たち、よく来たな。俺がスケアクロウ。そう、裏社会を仕切る影のボス。長い。そうきたか。そっちね。
He's actually really shy, huh?